Sometimes we can modify certain things, but if we cautiously and safely challenge the body, it becomes tougher. Okay? So twofold. One of the things we're going to be talking about today is the need to have a little bit of strength to protect us if we have a slight fall. Okay? The other part to it is if we do fall, are we going to be able to get up? Do we have the strength to get up? And the other part to it with respect to the need for muscles, the need to survive an impact, right, is if we're in a car accident, for example, right, if the body's toughened up a little bit, we're potentially not going to get as hurt. Slips and falls, like when we're out on slippery surfaces in the wintertime. I've seen a lot of people using trekking poles to get out so they don't have to worry so much about balance. They definitely help with balance. But for those of us who kind of do a little slip and fall on loose gravel or on sand or in mud, for example, where we want to make sure we can absorb that impact. Okay, so if you're on blood thinners, if you know that you bruise easily, some of this stuff that we're going to be doing today might not be the greatest thing for you. We might have to look at modifications. But the other part to it is we can modify what we're going to be, some of the stuff that we're going to be doing, okay, by doing some of the drills, some of the exercises while we're in bed, okay? Some people might think high impact exercise in bed is a different thing altogether. But what I want to do, I have some quotes here that I pulled off the internet that I want to throw out there, because the other part to it, one of the drills that we're going to be doing was created by a gentleman named, no, it's not on here. I don't know why I don't have his name. It's kind of, he has two, like, first names. Dan John, maybe that's it, Dan John or John Dan. Oh, it is, it's Dan John. It's Dan John, okay? He talks about armor building, and maybe we'll post a link on Facebook later as well. But armor building in terms of trying to make the body a little bit more impact resistant, having the strength to absorb punishment. I mean, look at hockey players, right? When they get checked into the boards, or look at martial artists. I've got those Shotokan guys, they kick really hard. Shotokan guys also punch really hard, right? And I've absorbed a lot of punishment in my life, but that's one of those things. You just can't walk into a situation like that and expect to take that hit. You can't expect to just do a rolling break fall or a high, somewhat high, I'm old, so I was a little bit cautious there as well, but a somewhat high front break fall as well without getting injured, right? You sort of have to build up to it. So I'm introducing this idea of the need to work from the ground, on the ground, doing some sort of groundwork to toughen up the body at least a little bit. But the other part to it, right, practice makes better, right? And think about if you've never been in a situation where you have to pick yourself up off the floor. I was going to say survive in the wilderness overnight, right, for those of us who hunt and everything else. But that's one of those things. You want to practice that as well so that you're able to stay level-headed, you're able to stay calm, you're able to remain mindful about everything, okay? But once again, everything in moderation. We don't have to throw everything together. There's another quote here that's fantastic. Injuries in training are signs of stupidity. Too much, too fast, too hard, too soon. Okay, so we're going to go super slow. For those of you who feel that you can absorb a little bit more punishment because you're also a lot more active, right? But once again, I'm addressing primarily an older population. And I know we do have active seniors. We do have people who exercise on a regular basis. And if you search for them, we have people in their 70s and 80s who are doing CrossFit, right? People who are doing martial arts as well. So that's going to be one of those things. But once again, they probably started years ago. We're just slowly building, okay? The other part to it is I've got multiple different things here. And when we talk about self-defense, it's not necessarily just self-defense against people. For those of us who are on the island, you never know. There could be a dog that comes after you. When you're out and about with your trekking poles, right? You're trekking and you're walking and you're trekking and you're walking. Maybe a rabid coyote or I don't know, drunk porcupine comes after you, right? What are you going to do? I mean, I guess one argument is that you just run away, right? Well, but then maybe you had just sprained your ankle, right? And your cries for help called out a medium-sized, almost friendly-looking bear, right? So you've got your trekking poles, and it's coming at you, and it looks kind of angry at you. I don't know the scenario. But the point is, Do you have the strength, in your upper body to absorb the shock if you have to poke at it with your trekking pole? Okay? The other part to it, do you have, ceiling. Do you have the ability to manipulate a stick-like piece of equipment, right, to defend yourself meaningfully against an animal, a dog, right? Those of you who are golfing, right, my golfers, dogs aren't really all that low, right, but you can modify your swing. You just have to, okay, we won't say dog, because, it might be somebody's pet. How about we say a chupacabra, right? A chupacabra. Okay, so a goat, or blood-sucking goat vampire is coming after you, and they say they're about this high, right? Can you take a swing at it and meaningfully not get injured? Right? Think about times when you're golfing, or even better, when you're shoveling the snow. Right? A lot of people will injure their shoulders, upper extremity injuries from shoveling, right? And you're just shoveling, right? You're shoveling, then you hit that piece of ice, boom, right? You've got the recoil, the shock going through the body, right? And then, oh my goodness, my shoulder, you pop your shoulder out or you hurt something, you end up with a tendonitis. It's the same thing when we're golfing, right? Golfer's elbow oftentimes comes from when you get a little bit too much of Canada. When you're hitting down, you're thinking you're going to go through, but then you hit the ground and, it hurts in here, right? Playing baseball, all those things, okay? So we're going to work on different, this is the longest introduction ever. I'm sorry, Jackie. So let's get into it, okay? So one of the things we're going to look at with respect to being able to absorb a little bit more punishment, right, is trying to toughen up the joints in the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder, okay? Because for a lot of people, when they start to lose their balance, do you have the column in frame at all?
No, but I can put it in.
Can we just maybe put that in frame?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead, just turn it. I'll follow along. Okay, so we're good? You can still see me?
Nope.
Okay, so here's the thing. You've got a drink in your hand, maybe a hot dog in the other hand, and then you hit a loose paving stone. Drink goes one way, the barbecue food goes the other way, but there's a tree there, right? And you go, boom, right? Whoo! You caught your balance, you didn't quite fall at that time, okay? But what happens? Did you hurt your wrist? Right, when people fall and they go like this, man, that stuff scares me, because that's a good way to break your wrists. Also hurt your elbow, shoulders, right? Anybody who has fallen, even when your legs go out, right? Oh, listen, did you hear the material? Awesome. Okay, your legs go out and you fall back this way, right? Also jarring the body, okay? So that's going to be one of those things. Now say, it's not necessarily when you hit the ground that you get injured, right? It's maybe because you bounced off the tree, right? And you fractured your wrist or something like that, and then you fell to the ground, okay? So what we want to do is toughen up our upper bodies a little bit more. Now remember when we were talking about push-aways, a modified push-up against the wall, right? And we were doing this, okay? What I want people to do is try to, you can do the push-up, but fall into the wall a little bit, okay? Just like that. In an ideal world, right, if you were going to fall flat on your face like I did at the beginning when I came in, you'd want to use your forearms to absorb the impact. It takes away the wrist and the elbow joint, and all you're looking at now is the tougher, more muscular shoulder to fall into something. Okay? So falling, part of the problem is that when we're falling, we want to try to brace ourselves this way, when we should be thinking, protect ourselves. Right? Protect ourselves. So when you bring the hands up, right, that also helps. And you're less likely to hurt the wrist. But anyways, aside from falling technique, what I want people to look at is trying to toughen themselves up a little bit. Just a little bit. So falling into the wall. Right? If we posted a slow-mo video, you would see it was so cool, right? The ripples in the muscles and almost the shaking of the joints, right? Just from that impact, right? And I'm not saying, right, punch a wall really hard right from the get-go, because you might hurt yourself, right? But what I'm saying, practice absorbing some punishment. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Every time a force runs through the body like that, it toughens up the muscles, toughens up the joints, right? Toughens up the bones. Think of osteoporosis. Think of people who have had a cast. Remember back in the day, you used to have a full leg cast, and you'd have the crutches, and you're like, right? They don't do that anymore, unless there's a specific reason to completely immobilize things. We have walking casts now. And the reason for that is because we want to make sure that you're not losing the musculature, but as well, the bone will heal in a much better state, typically, and stronger, if we're able to continue putting forces through it. Okay, so if you break your leg, I'm not saying stop, right? Oh, I'm going to heal better. That's not what I'm saying, okay? But the point is, and I've said this in the past as well, if we don't use it, we lose it, okay? And that's going to be one of those things. So, in moderation, I want you to try to fall into a wall, okay? Just a little bit of an impact. You know, I'm not saying that the end game is to, jump into a wall, because that would be, 2 o'clock in the morning after a night out at the Anchor, right? We'll wait until after COVID before we experience that again. So that's going to be one of those things. Slowly falling into the wall. Now, in terms of toughening up the body as well, this part of the body is super hard as well. I'm starting to teach kind of martial artsy stuff. That's not where we're going with this, except later on when we're using our canes and our sticks. We're talking about toughening up the body, okay? So, one of the things that you can do, and I was going to, we can go back here now?
Wherever you want.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying with the camera. Or still in frame? Right here? Right here? Still in frame? Okay. Whoa. Okay. Maybe you start off at a table and you've got a pillow. So here I've got a towel around my yoga mat and a pillow. This is awesome. Right? Just this. It may not seem like a lot, right? Because for most of us, we can absorb this punishment. Right? And I say punishment in a therapeutic sense of the word. Right? The force rippling through the hands, the forearms, the elbow. Okay? And that's going to be one of those things. It's a start. But if you're at a table, for example, then slowly but surely you get rid of the insulating layers, right? And then next thing you know, you're just hitting the table. Not very hard, but you're just tapping the table. Once again, with the palm of your hand, the forearm, we're trying to build up a resistance to an impact. We don't know what that impact is, okay? We don't know what that impact is. It could be a primary impact where you lose your balance and you fall against the floor. Or someone pulls a rug out from underneath you, you slam against the wall, then you hit the floor. Or there's 3 impacts, right, where you bounce off the wall, the table, and then the floor. Right? I've been watching way too many movies. So that's going to be one of those things. In martial arts, we also train people to tuck their heads in. Okay? In a fighting situation, you want to tuck the head in so you don't get knocked out necessarily. But when we're falling, when we're doing break falls and everything else, we want the head to be tucked in. So the head is less likely to hit the mat, or the floor, I should say. But that's something that we can discuss at a later date. Once again, this is about impact training and being able to toughen up the body through impact. Okay, so once again, we're hitting this. And you try different things, Sitting, I'm watching TV, I'm hitting. Okay? May not seem like a lot, but once again, we're slowly building strength in the body. Okay? And that's one of those things. In judo, when we would teach people how to fall, we start lying on the floor. Okay? And then we move to higher and higher levels where we're doing the higher break falls and falling from a higher distance. Right? Eventually, you get to the point where it becomes instinctive and muscle memory kicks in. And that's one of the big things. When you're in a pick you up and slam you into the planet kind of martial art like judo, right? You kind of need to learn how to fall instinctively. Most of us don't have that instinct, so what we need to do, if we're not going to learn how to fall necessarily, we just need to toughen up the body a little bit more to learn, or to be able to absorb the impact. Okay? So, we'll move this out of the way. And in terms of a modification, we're going to do an activity that, was it Dan John, is that what I said, or was it John Dan?
I think it was Dan John.
Dan John, the guy I mentioned earlier, right? He's got this great activity. It's called Get Back Up. Yeah. Get back up, I think. It's on my phone. My phone's over there. But the point I'm trying to make is that we're going to start on the ground, and we're going to get back up. We're practicing scenarios, okay, so that we can better, what's the word I'm looking for? I said the word earlier, better handle and not get stressed out if we do find ourselves on the ground. Whether it's from a fall or, we get lightheaded and we end up on the ground and we don't know how we got onto the ground. Okay, but remember, 5 minutes a day of this can toughen up the body, and it's just practice. Okay, I used to joke with people, and to a certain extent I still do, hooray, I did one sit-up today, right? I sat up to get out of bed. Okay, and that's, one sit-up, but hey, that's one sit-up more than if I didn't get out of bed, right? So anyways, if you're concerned at all about getting up off the floor, you can try some of these activities on your bed, okay? But then don't fall off your bed. Okay, safety first. Everything in moderation, maybe you'll modify things. Okay, so if we want to just get back up, that's what we're going to do. So here's the thing. There's no right way, there's no wrong way to do this. There's just the goal of being on the ground and then getting back up. So I would encourage you actually right now, if you have space around you, to try this with me, because we're going to start off just lying on our back. Okay, then we're going to get back up. Remember, there's no right way, there's no wrong way. We're just going to get back down on the floor on our right side. Then we're going to get back up. And left side, okay, on our stomach. Once again, so my hope, if you find yourself and you're lying on your stomach, doing push-aways off the wall might be very helpful. Might have been very helpful in this situation. Right? Because for many people, we're going to try to push up. Okay? But if you don't have the strength necessarily to do a push-up to get up, right? Or, be athletic in some way, shape, or form, return to what you're able to do. So you found it's a little bit harder for you to get up when you're lying on your left side. Your right side is better. Boom. Return to something that is comfortable for you and that you're able to do. So we're going to, on our stomach, work our way to our right side, and then from there, it's how we would get up. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, we're going to change things. Okay, now if I had pockets, I'd put a hand in a pocket, but what we're going to do now is we're going to pretend like our left arm is broken. We find ourselves, why am I on the ground? That doesn't look right. Why is my shoulder all the way down here? My arm isn't working. So we're going to start off on our back with our hand on our knee. We're going to take the hand right out of, or the arm right out of the situation. So on our back, don't break contact here, right? And we're going to get back up. Okay, right side. So if you're doing this at home and I'm going too quickly, just kind of pick up wherever I am. Right side, get back up. See, I moved my hand already, right? If I do this again, I'm going to duct tape my arm in place. Left side, how am I going to do this? Well, I'm able to use my right side to get up, so I'm going to, roll over. Get onto my right side, and then get up. I didn't do stomach. Still prefer my right side, and I'm going to get up. Whew. So, I practiced getting up multiple times. Having done some work on the ground, right? I have toughened up the body, shifting around, I guess we can call them micro impacts, right? Micro impacts to toughen up the body in that scenario. Think about someone who is a blacksmith, right? And they're constantly hammering metal, okay? Think how strong that arm is, okay? Because day in, day out, let me tell you, you get into a fight with a blacksmith, you don't want them to do hammer fists to you because they'll kill you, okay? But once again, this is one of those things where, because we sometimes don't practice getting up off the ground, if we find ourselves in that situation, we might not have the strength. We might not have the range of motion. We might not have been able to absorb those micro impacts. Okay, now just for your entertainment, I am going to do right hand to left knee. How does that look? Once again, it's challenging the body in a different way. I'm getting stronger, but also in my brain, I'm creating these synaptic pathways so that if I have this bizarre, crazy glue situation where I was gluing something with crazy glue, the fumes knocked me out and I woke up with my hand stuck to my left knee and I'm on the ground. How am I going to get up? Okay, so on my back. Yeah, I would probably do this. Okay? Once again, so okay, I've imprinted that in my head. I know now that if my hand is stuck to my left knee and I'm on my back, how I'm going to get up. Practice makes better. Left side. Probably do this again. Okay? There we go. Whew. Working out. Oddly enough, my heart rate is up. I'm sweating a fair bit because A, my uniform is quite warm, and 2, constantly moving around. And this is great. I love this. This is fun for me, and it's also exercise for me as well. Okay. Carrying on with respect to, so that's the get back up exercise. And one of the reasons why I said you can try this in bed, right? I'm not saying that you like constantly stand up on your bed because you might fall off, right? But if you're having difficulty getting up off the floor, then you can at least still be in bed, lie down, and get out of bed the way you normally would. Okay? Now, one of the things to look at is if you do find yourself on the ground after a fall, how are you going to get up off the floor? Well, provided nothing is stuck together, provided that you have use of 1 or 2 upper arms, okay? You want to get to a chair, you want to get to something that can, even a table, something that can help you get up off the ground. Okay? And remember, remember we talked about the need to be able to pull ourselves. Am I still in the frame? Am I still in the frame now? Okay, good. I've fallen and I can't get up. Fortunately, there's a chair. Right? Okay, so my left arm isn't working well. My clothing. So I'm dragging myself, but then I can do that salamander walk as well. Oh. Then we want to take stock. Okay, how did I practice getting back up? Okay, so maybe I want to prop myself up, get that knee up. Right, I'm going to maybe rest my head here. I'll be thinking to myself, I wish I had a cell phone on me at all times. Or maybe an Apple Watch, right? Or one of those, buttons that you push and then people show up to help you. Okay, then you want to use the support at all times. Okay, so here, I'm just going to take a breather, okay? I'm taking my time and I'm using something to support myself to get up. Now here's the thing. You don't know how injured you are, or maybe you do, but you've got a chair here. If I would encourage people then, take a break. Right? Take a break. Take stock of the fact that you just crawled 8 feet to the nearest chair. Now, I mean, the alternative is to leave chairs all over your house, right? But I'm just saying. So you're thinking to yourself, I am so happy that I worked on my upper body strength. I'm so happy that I learned to absorb impact, right? To try to strengthen my joints. The other part to it is, and I will go over technique if you really want better technique in terms of how to get up off the floor after you've had a fall, okay? But that's one of those things. It's a combination of using what you have to get up off the ground in a way that doesn't cause you more harm or injury. Okay, does that make sense? Whew. Okay, so what I would like to do as well, in terms of one more exercise, just to kind of toughen up the upper body, since you're already going to be on the ground, right, you were just practicing get back up. Whew. You're resting, and you're just, right, Arms go up, arms come down, okay? You can start small, okay? And you're getting bigger, right? You're trying to toughen up the arms. Now, I mean, you can hit your elbows as well if you want, but we're just, once again, completely flat, palm, forearm, you're rotating over, and you're just letting everything hit the ground. Okay? Very simple. Now, once again, if you have an injury, if this is hurting, stop. No pain is gain. Too much of a good thing can become a bad thing really quick. And remember, too much, too soon, I don't know, there's 3 things there in that other quote. But that's going to be one of those things. If you find that you want to try this in terms of practicing how to get up, practicing absorbing impact with your upper extremities, okay? Once again, modify it. You don't have to be on the ground. Just call them. Okay, pretend this is a wall, and you're against the wall. Just like this. Right? There we go. My goal is that you'll all be able to hit the wall hard enough to be able to put a hole in it. Right? And then you can pay people to help patch it, and then you can pay to buy the materials that helps drive the local economy. Right? No, I'm just kidding. Don't put holes in the wall. Don't put holes in the wall. But, you know, it doesn't hurt to practice absorbing impact. Okay? Now, we're getting back to using our sticks. So, when we went to the East Coast, I just used an old ski pole, put some hockey tape on the end. Now, those were my trekking poles. I brought these because my trekking poles, I don't really want to, hurt is the wrong word. Damage, break, okay? Not all of us are going to be walking in the bush with a samurai sword on us, okay? But if we might have pick up a stick as a walking stick. So what we're going to do, I'll put this way, I'll grab my chair again, once again because of the height. Okay. So, once again, we're just practicing impact. Okay? Now, with respect to range of motion, once again, so with the left hand under, the right hand on top. Sorry, we're not doing kendo, so you can hold it whatever way you want. But this is going to be one of those things. So, you're here like this, nice and easy. Once again, if we film this in slow motion, you could see the ripple of the force. Not like the force. I'm not a Jedi. But the force rippling through the body. Okay? My kids, when I started to develop a dad body and I had more material here in my midsection, we had a fun time. I let my kid punch me in the gut while we recorded it in slow motion and just ripples. It was kind of funny. Anyways, carrying on. Okay, so here, boom, just like that. And we're hitting. Okay? And once again, it's just about impact. But the other part to it, say a rabid fox comes at you and you've got this stick, right? You've tried to poke it away, you've tried to be big, or is that with a bear you pretend to be big? Well, regardless, some animal, you're being big, and it's just coming at you, right? You've got something that can keep it. I mean, people you could kick it, I guess, and I know that the animal people will say, oh my God, you kicked a rabid fox. No, okay. Anyways, I've got a stick, right? So have you practice this movement, and be able to absorb punishment. Sorry, not punishment, the impact of performing the movement, okay? And that's going to be one of the big things. The other part to it, remember, if you have a cane, if you have a stick, or a trekking pole, a ski pole, anything with distance, right? Whether it's an animal or a person, right? They're coming at you. You're like, don't touch me. Get away from me or something. Right? And you've got this between you and them. You're doing one of these things. You're poking them. Stay away. Right? Early on this self-isolation, I was wishing, I should say, that I could work leather so I could make a plague doctor mask. Okay? If you don't know what a plague doctor mask is, Google it, and it'll come up. They kind of look like the big eyes and like a big nose, kind of looks like a bird. Okay, but one of the things that plague doctors had, they always had sticks with them, so that when sick people were around them, they'd poke them. We're seeing that a lot in YouTube videos, some TikToks as well, where people have sticks with them just to create this zone of space around them so that people aren't speaking moistly on them, right? So, but that's one of those things. So, hey, you know, stay away, fox. Foxy lady, come on in a bit closer. That's a different story altogether. Okay, so there's that, the pokey thing, okay? We can talk about technique in terms of, you know, hip rotation and stuff like that when you're poking. But one of the things that I wanted to as well just throw out there, even though it is spring, and if you can just bear with me, I'm going to run quickly and grab my shovel. Where? Oh, there's a shovel. Remember, we're talking about practicing impact, absorbing impact. Shovel a chair. Shovel your house. Something that doesn't, shovel a tree. Right? Impact. A functional thing. Because remember, if you are able to practice things that would normally injure you, okay, by practicing how that impact can be absorbed through the body, man, that's perfect. That's called functional training, right? You're training specifically to prevent something. And remember, it's prevention. I'm not saying, you know, oh my God, go. No. Slow. Relaxed. Mindful. Okay? I would rather you hit 100 times with 1 pound of force, right? Than hit it one time with 100 pounds of force and dislocate your shoulder. Okay? Either way, 100 pounds has been achieved. Right? I don't even know if I'm using the right measurements there, but anyways, that's where I'm going with that. Okay? We can talk about shoveling technique. I teach people how to shovel without getting injured or reduce the chances of getting injured. Right? It's low impact shoveling. It's using the body. That's a whole different video, ladies and gentlemen. Just remind me when we get to that part of the year, and then we'll throw that in as well. Okay? So, training, remember, keep spending time on the ground. Right? Work on groundwork. And I don't mean that in the sense of grappling in any way, shape, or form. What I mean is, practice getting up. Get back up. Right? Get back up. Using different scenarios. Right? You might get really specific and be able to get back up while holding a glass of water without spilling a drink, or without spilling a drop, right? Because is that tea? Is that hot tea? Yeah. Okay, Jackie's not going to give me her tea. The point I'm trying to make, right, is that, right? Anyways, don't worry about it, I'm sure they can visualize it. They can visualize what may or may not have happened. But once again, safety first, right? No hot tea shall fall on this body today that I'm aware of. Okay, so there we go. I don't know. Did I have 1 or 2 more things I wanted to discuss?
What's on the black chair?
What black chair? This black chair? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's just decoration. Yeah, sorry. Did someone ask that?
No.
Oh, okay. No, this is just kendo equipment, protective equipment, right? And that's one, since my chest protector is over here on the ground, I'm not wearing it. So this is just a nice kimono. This other stuff is kendo, my kendo uniform. But this is the helmet, if you will, gloves, a waist protector, right? And that's going to be one of those things. In an ideal world, right? Well, in an ideal world, we'd be able to still walk around, right? Like this. Wouldn't that be awesome? Hey, how's it going? All right. I might have to do this sometime this summer. Just walk around, right? With walking the dog, just because. Right? Because I'm thinking, oh look, a rabid fox. Ha! I have a sword. Oh look, someone's threatening me with a, I don't know, knife. I got a bigger knife. It reminds me of Crocodile Dundee moment, right? But anyways, long story short, self-defense, stick against knife, typically stick should win. But that's a debate for other martial arts forums, etc., etc. Not for today. So, if there's a takeaway from today, first and foremost, Given likes to dress up. Secondly, but probably more important than that, okay, is that let's continue to spend time on the ground, okay? Pulling ourselves, working on that upper body strength. If you have a strap so that you can tie it or lock it under the door and be able to pull yourself, okay? Hand over hand. Perfect, right? Practice as well, getting back up, right? Lie down, get back up. It's not a race, right? There's no time restriction on it. You know, I didn't say you have to get up within 5 seconds or something like that. No. In a life-threatening situation, having the upper body strength might be the difference between, once again, life and death. Being able to get to a better position, get yourself righted so that you can get to the phone, anything like that. Okay, that could save your life. Having the upper body strength during a zombie apocalypse as well, so that, hey, zombie, right, you can keep them away until someone comes and cuts their head off, or comes in with a shotgun with a double tap, right? But that's one of those things here, right? We'll keep them away, the zombies, right? We can talk, whoa, strikes, it's poof, right? Coming in at people. Sorry, I'm getting my third wind, and I'm dressed up, so, you know, I'm kind of getting excited. But anyways, I think we're good. So, the pulling, practice getting back up from different situations. And this is going to be one of those things, right? People will be like, well, you know, I'm not sure that I want to do that. Okay, you know, my son right now, hi Spencer, if you're watching, he's right now not sure how he feels about Harry Potter. But he's a trooper, he's a student, he's a scholar, right? So he's going to read that book, right? And so that's, sometimes we do things that take us out of our comfort zone, because in the long run, it will help us out. Okay, and it may not seem like a lot, but holy smokes, man, that's going to be one of those things where when we need it, when we've got those inner resources and we've practiced being in those scenarios, what a great thing. What a great, great thing. Okay? You know what else is a great thing, Jackie?
No.
It's time. It's that time in our segment where we dance.
Perfect.
Awesome stuff. So, because I'm dressed up in martial arts attire, I decided to pick a song that most people can dance to, either from a standing position, maybe I'll do a combination of both. But I'm also a big fan of contrast. I'm a big fan of juxtaposition. Just because juxtaposition is a cool word, and we never use it in a sentence on a daily basis. So, we're going to play this song. Oh, and for those of you, just be mindful that there might be an explicit lyric or two. Really just one, but the context is appropriate. I hit it, but it didn't stop. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody, whatever. I apologize if I did, but it's a great song from the 90s. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, what is the purpose of today? Upper body strength, practicing getting up, getting back up, can help save your life. So, here we go. Hope you enjoyed today's session, which as you know is 50%. What is it? 50% education. 50% gosh, what is the other 50% where I guide you through activities, right? And 50% entertainment. Because it's going to take 150% effort to make it through self-isolation. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Share the video, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, or whatever it is they say. Whew, I'm going to breathe now. Thanks.